Hi everyone again, my name is UJ. Welcome to Family Cycle again, where we talk about everything revolving around the family. And today we continue with the fertility series. And today I'll be talking about the egg life cycle. Yeah, you heard me right, the egg life cycle. So yeah, just like every other thing, the egg has a life cycle of when it starts and when it ends. And so if you're on a fertility journey as a woman, you need to understand that your egg has a cycle, which means that it starts at a certain period, which also offers you the opportunity to maximize it, build it up, and make the best of it. The egg life cycle starts from the onset of the egg, and usually the cycle could take between 90 to 120 days thereabout, or even more. And so what it means is that if you are on a fertility journey and you're looking to improve your eggs that you probably use maybe for IVF or maybe even natural conception, IUI, or whichever, you want to use an egg that you started treating early. And so what it means is that you want to eat right. There are things that you need to eat that fits the egg. So you need to build, it's called building your egg. So just the same way as humans, we grow old, your eggs also get to age. So as you are getting older, your eggs are getting old, and at the same time in each of the cycle, as your egg is getting close to the period, that egg is about to die. And so if you are preparing for fertility treatment, one of the things you want to do is to start early by eating the right things. One thing that has also ruined us lately is toxins. There are so many toxins in the air, and sometimes you want to be very, very intentional with what you eat. One of the things that is very, very good for building eggs is green leaves. The folate in green leaves is very, very good for eggs. Also, it is eggs as well. It's good to eat eggs. It helps to build the eggs. Also, there are some medications that would help to build your eggs. You need to work with your doctors. But for me, in my journey, readily available on the internet with two main medications that I would say that helped me. One is CoQ10 enzyme, which I read about what it does. Another one is DHEA, which is the micronized DHEA. So there are some that are not micronized, but the one I used was the micronized DHEA, which helps, all this help to build your eggs. So when I used them, I had a situation where my egg went from one cycle, I had just one egg, and when I used this, by the next cycle, I was able to have 12 eggs, but I gave a break. So if for any reason, you have an IVF cycle and it fails, please don't be in a hurry, right? So go back, reflect, and build your eggs again, right? For me, I had a situation where I didn't build my eggs right, and in the first one I went ignorantly. Then I didn't have as much information. So the first that particular one, I went ignorantly. By the time I went there, I was actually hyper stimulated. What it means was I had something called OHSS, which is ovarian hyperstimulation, and so my follicles could not develop well to produce quality egg at that time. I had enough follicles which were healthy, that looked like they were going to produce healthy eggs. However, it did not produce healthy eggs in that particular cycle. So I took a break, about 2-3 cycles in between. So if you want to take a break, what it means is that you allow your period, so let's say you want to have IVF, maybe say in April, right? What it means is that as early as January, February, you should have started doing the right things that will help build your egg that you're going to use in April. And so it's not the best to just want to do IVF in April and you just go there and expect, you know, the best results. It can happen. Like I keep saying, there's no one size fits all. There are younger people who have had bad eggs, there are older people who have had good eggs, and so, you know, all these are person specific, right? But in general, you know, this is the kind of advice, you know, that you would get to also maximize, you know, the whole process. Now, this is a very challenging phase. It's quite challenging financially, it's quite challenging emotionally, you know, and all that. And so it's always the best to put your best foot forward. And so, you know, it's best for you to go on that journey, you know, preparing, knowing fully well that you've done your best, you know, for your egg. And of course, you could still do your best and things might not happen, right? But it's always the best to put your best foot forward. So I've seen people, you know, who have gone from having chocolate cyst, you know, having really bad eggs, and, you know, because they were very intentional with what they ate and things like that, you know, they started having good eggs. One of the things you also want to avoid is what you use for your skin. You know, you want to be very intentional. Anything that would put toxins inside your body, it could be, because your skin is the largest organ on your body, you know, it could be your cream, it could be the cosmetics you use or whatever it is, you know, you want to be very, very intentional to make sure that, you know, nothing is inhibiting the chances and the opportunities of you having a success. I know it's not easy. I've had people who when they were on this journey, they're like, ah, no, I can't do it, it's too much. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. So imagine somebody doing this once, twice, 3 times, right? And even maybe losing the pregnancy somewhere along the line, you know, and things like that. So, you know, it's a lot to take in. So please understand your egg cycle, build up your eggs, eat the right things, and above all, be very, very prayerful. So I hope this has also been very, very helpful. Please like, share with your friends, and hopefully I'll bring you another informative version of this series again, you know. And also, if you have any questions that you want to ask about the series, please kindly, you know, put it in the comment, and I'll probably address it as Q&A, you know, to the best of my knowledge. So if you need any questions about, you know, all these things I've been sharing, or your own personal situation, you know, that you'd like to share, kindly let me know. Hopefully there would be an email that we can share. For now, we can use the comment and we'll take it from there. See you later. Bye.